I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Aquirena is here. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
This is try number 2 with Aquirena. We had a little trouble earlier, but thankfully Aquirena is back for us. And please introduce yourself to everybody.
All right. So, hi, everyone. My name is Aquirena. I am a runaway alien who kind of just crash landed on here. And, well, originally when I was found, they were worried about me having a plague or something, so I got locked up. But now I just kind of live in the research lab, and they, take my hair clippings and whatnot and watch me play games on stream as, tests.
Man, they watch you. They watch you play games, and then they write down all their stuff and stick it in the computer and try to figure you out.
Like that, yeah. Apparently aliens are a little rare on this planet.
They don't know. They need to get in the inner cities sometimes a little bit about aliens. Yeah, maybe they're the aliens at this point. How things are going on these days.
I don't know. I haven't seen a single person with purple skin, so I think I'm an outlier.
Yeah, I think that's one I haven't gotten yet. So, how did you get started with the VTubing?
Well, in lore, I already gave the answer, but in real life, it just seemed fun.
Did you watch VTubers before, or did you enjoy them, or?
I originally just found random clips, and then I found someone that talked about the mechanics of it, and I was like, yeah, that does seem fun. I could do that. I started watching not over the top amount, but some of the, how to be a streamer type things.
Yeah. And
then I was like, my current computer can't really handle it, so maybe when I upgrade. But in the meantime, I found a streaming app called Reality, and I started doing that every single day for a year, and I did like it. So when my old computer died, I was like, and I was like, yeah, I'll go get a new computer, and got myself a new one. And then I started working on it. I started as a PNG tuber because, well, I'm not going to spend a lot of money on it. I know it can get expensive, people spending thousands of dollars on a model.
Right.
And I'm not going to do that. I'm just doing this for fun. I mean, if things change, that's future me. That's not current me or past me.
Right.
And, well, I started with that.
Yeah.
And then I ended up making some friends. One of them made my current model. Mm-hmm. And, well, now I stream with that model. In fact, I got 10 different outfits for the model.
That's great. So you start with the PNG. I'm not gonna spend a lot of money. Now you got practically a Barbie collection.
I do have a good wardrobe, yeah. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing that says you have to spend a lot of money to be a streamer. I think, let's see, not including video games.
Right.
I think I might have spent about $100 total on everything for my streaming. Of course, that's large part because my model was a gift.
Oh, well, that's a good start. But who was the person who did your model, if you don't mind saying?
Yeah. Her name is Sing Cisco. I can, give you her information later.
Yeah, that'd be great.
She's actually an interviewer VTuber.
Oh, well, there you go. I guess you know someone who actually does it right.
Yeah, she's a VTuber that interviews other VTubers on her stream.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad to see people doing that because everybody's got a different point of view and different ways of slicing the apple, so to speak. And all it does is give us more information about people like yourself, wonderful folks who are talented and take the time to entertain us. And I do want to ask you about that. Were you somebody who always wanted to be an entertainer?
Let's see. I like coming up with stories and characters and things like that.
Yeah.
I've been a forever DM in Dungeons and Dragons for the longest time. You know, making up all the stories. I've written my own stories for fun. I got one that's like about like 750,000 words long right now. I really need to finish it.
Yeah.
And I'm about to start another one for fun, you know.
Yeah.
I haven't like published any of my things, but maybe at some point I'll put them out as like, you know, digital books.
Oh yeah, why
You know,
not? Yeah, what? Oh, 750. Now don't spoil everything about it. But what is the book of the? Well, it's more than a book at this point. What is this story about?
well, that one was just kind of a generic isekai I wasn't taking too seriously.
Hmm.
I just was like, you know, I'll just do something to get in the habit of writing.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a pretty good
Yeah.
habit at that point.
Mhm.
Did
Yeah.
when you do the do this type of writing, is it something that you that you have the idea first and go to paper, computer, or wherever you write out the story, or do you go as is kind of a as you go flow?
Depends on the story.
Mm,
I've done both.
mm. Which one do you like better?
Honestly, it depends on the story. Some of them it feels like it requires lots of planning. Others it's like, whatever.
Kind of writes itself sometimes.
To an extent, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I envy those who are actually able to put it down on paper or put it in the computer. I get things bouncing around in my head and I can't get them out correctly other than talking and it doesn't work well on like short stories and that type of thing. Um,
Well, I'm not much on short stories. I prefer the bigger ones
yeah.
to write.
Well, as a DM, how long are your stories as a DM?
It heavily depends on the players, honestly.
Mm.
I mean, I can't control the main characters. I just control the NPCs, so they steer the narrative. But I have had the same group of players for my one group. I have more than one group, but we've been playing together for about 8 years.
Oh wow.
Just not the same story the whole time.
Yeah. And now if you could get a thing going for 8 years, that's pretty amazing. But I played back in the one book days. Um, back when I was almost a pamphlet instead of many books, and to see the difference, I'm glad that there's so many people who enjoy doing it and continue doing it. But the difference is so amazing.
Well, being a forever DM has kind of taught me how to, you know, think quickly and take random chance into account.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've literally rolled dice to decide if characters die or not in stories I've written.
Do you do the random dice roll with nothing on the line just to mess people up
Do you mean in writing or in D&D?
in D&D?
On occasion.
It's always good to keep them on their toes.
Yep.
Oh,
I mean, I've done random dice rolls at the weirdest times. Like once, okay, you're at an inn. I roll a dice, and it's just to see how good the food there is. But they don't know what it's for.
they just look around like, what do we do? What do we have to save
Mhm.
against? You have to save against.
And one thing I always tell my players, I will do absolutely nothing to go out of my way to kill your character,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll do absolutely nothing to go out of my way to keep them alive.
That's cool. That's excellent.
And so far, I've only had one player die as their character, and that was because they had a saving throw deficiency. They failed like 8 of them in a row.
Oh, geez. I mean,
Yeah. Or as said player called it, they died due to STD, saving throw deficiency.
yeah, it rolls a natural 1 8 times in a row. By that point, you just like, yeah, he fell on his sword. He really didn't have much chance at that particular point.
Well, in this case, he was fighting a zombification disease, so he turned into a zombie, and the other player chopped off his head.
Well, it's that's pretty cool. I that takes a lot of creativity to come up with a to not only be a dungeon master at a good level, I would imagine these days, but also to have the ability to keep it interesting for the players too.
Well, kind of the same thing with VTuber lore,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a lot of VTuber lore, only some of it's been revealed.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
VTuber lore isn't something you technically need, but it can add a little bit of flavor to your character design, to your personality,
Yeah.
and you can add minor tidbits to what you say when you're streaming.
Oh yeah. And sometimes it comes up and people. I imagine people ask you sometimes too questions. Do you add as you go when people ask questions about your lore?
Yes and no. I got you know, let's say the skeleton script.
Right.
I'm this, I'm that, I'm that, I'm this. And then I have a few blanks I can fill in if/when they're needed.
You got it all set up. So did you really studied this before you got started or
Not a lot, but I did watch some,
mm-hmm.
some videos. Like, I have a friend called Yomi, and she made this a huge thing. She studied massively. She would listen to the videos while she's doing other things. She would watch the videos when she's not doing things. She worked extra hours at her job to get the funds to create her VTuber model.
Whoa.
And she became a big success, and I'm really proud of her for that. Of course, she turned it into a career, whereas me, I'm just doing this for fun.
Mm-hmm. Now,
so, it's not a real fair comparison, but I did some stuff, and
I think
yeah.
Well, hey, as long as you're enjoying yourself and other people are enjoying it too.
I mean, I'm not trying to make it into a job, but I do want to do a good job because I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I want to get better because I'm doing it. I mean, think about it in a video game thing. If you're playing, say, Pokemon, you eventually want to get past the first gym and go to the second. Even if you only play it like 30 minutes a week or something, you eventually want to go to the next area.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, when you got started with this and you found out it was fun to give it a try, how long before you became comfortable with being behind the avatar?
Oh, I was comfortable instantly.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I'm good at putting on masks in real life, so to speak.
Yeah. So did the DM thing help you out with that?
Probably. I mean, I was even a Wizards of the Coast sanctioned DM.
Whoa. So you had like the extra the extra endorsements there. That's pretty cool.
I didn't know I was one until about a year later, though. I was one for a year without knowing it.
Oh, I would have liked to have that and been able to brag about it a little bit. But how did that happen?
Well, I was at a place. Wizards of the Coast sponsored I forget what it's called, but weekly show up and learn D&D things, and I just showed up there a lot and ended up DMing a lot. And the people in charge there signed me up as an officially sanctioned one because it required paperwork for them and blah, blah, blah.
And you didn't even know it.
They just forgot to tell me because it didn't really matter to me.
Now, after you found out, did it matter to you?
I was like, huh. Does that mean anything? No. I mean, it just means that if you're at like an event, you can be a convention, you can be one of their DMs.
Have you done that?
Absolutely not.
Oh, would you want to though?
Not really.
Oh.
If I'm at a con, I want to be there to have fun, not to work.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
now, if they paid me, that would be another story.
Now that would be a dream job, wouldn't it? Be a paid roving DM.
I mean, I did get paid to be a DM once, but that was for a party. Yeah. Let's do a one-shot thing, blah, blah, blah. They're getting married next week, whatever.
So it was a marriage. It was a marriage D&D session.
Yeah, the thing was to find a wedding ring that got lost.
So how did you have them do it?
Well, it was just a typical D&D campaign, except the MacGuffin was a wedding ring.
Mm. Did you put them through heck?
I kept it simple because only one of them had played it before.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to have instant death traps on new players.
No. How how tempting is it sometimes when you have a player who's kind of a smart aleck and thinks they know it all and thinks they've got you in a corner? How tempting is it to just wipe them right out? I know you haven't done it, but how tempting is it?
I've only ever had one player I was tempted to.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah, and how did you hold back?
Well, I mean, if I cheat, then it means that the story doesn't matter, the dice don't matter, nothing matters.
True.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna ruin the game just to mess with the one person.
Did they make it through?
And they didn't last as part of the party,
Uh,
like the player didn't last with the group.
oh, so they didn't get along. It's tough to have a situation where you have a group of folks there and they don't all exactly mesh. You've got to have some teamwork going on, otherwise your group isn't going to make it.
Luckily, as a VTuber, I've made a lot of VTuber friends and acquaintances. And when I had my 1 year celebration, I actually had a whole bundle of other VTubers show up in my stream. And that was a very great celebration.
How cool is that?
Yeah, I did where I turned a bunch of VTubers into D&D items. Like, imagine them as D&D, and I had these other VTubers show up to, it's like, okay, help me design what they would be like, rant. I had 7 VTubers show up on my stream with me.
Cool.
And, each one of them helped me with one specific one. But yeah, I had Mushy Cat, Podgkins, ID10, Vendrash, Helmchan, Sane Cisco, and Rinarumi all show up.
That's great that's great to hear. And it did it take you very long to have to get a bunch of VTuber friends that you can count on?
I started planning about a month ahead of time.
Yeah.
I asked about a dozen, figuring half would be busy, and I was right.
Well, yeah.
And then one I just kind of asked last minute on a whim, I raided into her channel, which is where, in case people listening to this don't know, when you're done with your stream, you have the option to send your viewers to someone else instead of, just ending the stream, boom, they're done.
Right.
And I sent them over to Podgkins and, got to talking. She's a goblin. I had a goblin character I was playing. We got to talking. I was like, yeah, I'm doing this about D&D stuff if you want to join in. And she was like, oh, sure, why not?
Once you got into it and got into VTubing, did you find it easy to settle in to a community of VTubers, or was it tough at first?
It happened without me realizing it, honestly. A few of them, they were like, oh yeah, Aquirena, I'm totally friends with her. And I was like, wait, we're friends? When did that happen? I didn't get the notification. I mean, I wasn't arguing. It's just like, I don't always know when that happens. Yeah. I'm not the best at noticing things sometimes. Like, I don't notice when we've gone from just random people that talk to actually friends.
Yeah.
I don't notice when people flirt with me. I don't notice that I've been, streaming for as long as I have on occasion. That's kind of on the more rare side. But yeah. I remember one stream, I normally stream like 2.5 to 3 hours each time. And once I was like, wait a minute, I've been streaming for 5 hours. When did that happen?
Yeah, that's when the day really gets away from you at that point.
Well, that means that you were having fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you could tell just by talking with you how much you enjoy this. And how much I know it's not a full-time job or anything, and you're doing this stuff fun. But how big a part of your life is it right now?
Honestly, from the actual streaming part, it's not that big. I normally stream like maybe 6 hours a week. I do it 2 times a week.
Yeah.
I stream on Wednesday where I play the same game consistently, or at least I try to.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, this Wednesday, unless I change my mind before I start,
Yeah.
I'm going to be starting a new game, that one Detroit Beyond Human or Being Human or whatever the actual title is, I forget.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that one. Yeah.
And then I stream on Saturdays where I just play whatever I feel like at the time.
Mm. So
And I stream whatever I feel like if I do a bonus day too.
Mm. Yeah.
I'm of the mindset it's better to underestimate how much you can stream, that or like anything creative, like put out new art, put out a new chapter of a web novel or a web comic or whatever else.
Yeah.
If you underestimate yourself, you give yourself room. But if you assume that you're always going to be at your peak, you're going to start to fall behind. So it's better to underestimate yourself, to give you room, to give you a chance to make, filler, so to speak, I guess would be a good word, depending on what creativity we're talking about.
Right.
And give out bonuses where if you promise to, say, stream 5 days a week and there's a week that you can only handle 2 or 3, well, the fans might be a little disappointed, especially if you're on the newer side.
Yeah.
If you can stick with a consistent schedule, I think that's a very important thing for anything creative based, because your fans start to build it into their schedule.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it, and it's that reliability that will bring them back because they know when to come back. And
yeah, I mean, obviously, if you get sick, that's a different thing. Just tell people as soon as you can.
Right, and don't just ghost them.
I had to cancel the other Wednesday because I was. Yeah, I don't want to get too detailed about it, but I was sick.
Sometimes you just can't go, and that's all there is to it. I mean, and you don't want to. And from what it sounds like to me, you don't want to give somebody a 75% Aquirena at this point. You want to give them 100%.
I mean, I'm willing to give like 85 or 90 if I'm only feeling a little sick.
Yeah.
But if it gets down to like below that, because, there's a little different sorts of sick where if you're a little sneezy, and I've been told I kind of have a cute sneeze, so that doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of us have a very ugly sneeze. Don't get that out, and then you get it all over the equipment too, and that's not good either.
Yeah.
And it helps if you're recording something when you're doing it instead of being live. It is a big difference. So have you been doing art streams, or do you like doing that sort of thing?
I can't draw worth anything. If I did a draw thing, it would be like a silly look at how ugly my drawings are, or how basic they are, or like their little stick figures.
Yeah, we'll have to have a bad art off sometime. See, because I think I can beat you in how bad my art is.
Well, I don't have a tablet, so I'd have to do it with the mouse too.
I have to use it.
That said, I have done. Oh, what's the name of that thing where people? There's this little thing where you draw drawings and try to figure out what the other person drew.
Garlic phone, is that what it is?
Yeah, garlic phone. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I've done a few of those, and my art's not anything special, but I still have fun with it.
Yeah.
In fact, at some point, I might see about inviting some people to do garlic phone.
Oh wow, yeah, that looks like so much fun. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
That's one where you really take a kind of a home party game and turn it into an internet party game, and it's very well done.
Yeah. I like those Jack games or whatever they're actually called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Jackbox games or whatever they are.
Yeah, those. Yeah,
do you involve...
I got one of those on my. I think I got one of those on my throne just because. It's funny. Originally, I only made thrones so nobody else could steal my name, but a couple of people have used it.
Yes, that's great. I mean, people.
It feels a little weird because it's like I'm asking for stuff and it makes me feel greedy, but at the same time, I know if I don't put anything there, people will be like, "Well, what if I wanted to?"
Yeah, I wanted to give you something, but you wouldn't take it.
It's a weird middle ground because you don't want to seem greedy, but at the same time, you know that sometimes your fans want to be nice.
Well, it sounds like to me your fans are pretty nice. I mean, they're coming
Hmm?
back for you, and you're enjoying yourself.
Oh yeah.
Has it been easy interacting with chat all this time?
Oh yeah, so far. Luckily my chat doesn't get too busy, so it's easy enough.
Mm.
If I if I explode and get big, it might become like, wait. People are talking too fast. I can't.
It's some people find it really tough to do any type of game and have chat involved at the same time. But
I've been told that sound I just did sounds like the Klimpaloon from Phineas and Ferb.
oh, you can use that
Yeah,
as
I make sounds sometimes. I can't help it.
well, they're cute. They're
Hmm.
cute sounds.
But yeah, I've been told that there's kind of a stage cycle with how much streamers interact with chat.
Hmm.
At the very bottom, the streamers always talking to themselves because they don't have anyone chatting with them.
Mm.
Then, kind of in the middle, they're talking with chat a good amount because, they got people talking, they can reply, things like that. And then on the other side, they can't really talk to chat because there's so much chat happening, they don't get to notice much of anything.
Yeah, I watch folks deal with that, and I'm like, how do they even pick out anything in the chat that's going so fast? Um, and I don't know how chat deals with it either. If they're, I mean, it's something they say is gone off the screen in a millisecond, and then it would kind of give you the idea that there's no way that anybody even knew that you did anything at this point.
And then, of course, there's having mods. I'm a mod for another streamer,
Hmm.
and, I have a couple mods in mine. Although, luckily, I don't need them that much because I'm, not over the top. I haven't had people be rude or anything. I've dealt with a couple bots. And yeah, I'm not even sure if I've had, well, outside of bots, the people trying to sell you stuff,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I don't think I've actually had to ban people.
Well, that's
Like the
good.
one time I got followed by like 100 people all at the same time, all their names were just random letters and numbers. It's like, this is going to take a while to block them all.
Yeah, that's a real attack at that point.
Yeah, and I think I only had like 70 followers when that happened.
Oh,
I mean,
that's almost heartbreaking.
I did almost no hyping myself up on Twitter or anything when I started. I was like, I'm just going to start.
Yeah.
I mean, I took a couple weeks on Twitter. That was mostly to prepare myself for the OBS prep and,
Right.
Whatnot. But yeah.
And here you are, still rolling and still enjoying yourself.
Well, the way I like to say it is that, and this is true for almost any creative endeavor, not just streaming,
Hmm.
but 90% of the people who want to do it never start.
Yep.
9% of the people who want to do it quit within 6 months. So if you stick with it for a year, you're easily in the top 1%.
Yep. Yep. That's a great way to look at it. It sounds to me like you've got a really, really good outlook and mindset for doing this and enjoying yourself first, and having other people enjoy it too. With that being said, have you got yourself a goal set for your channel as a whole? Is there something that you really would like to reach and develop your channel into?
Well, right now, my goal, because I don't have really a long-term goal per se,
Mm-hmm.
but my goal is to be somewhere that people want to go, that people feel cozy and comfortable visiting, whether they lurk or it's just on occasion, or whether they talk a lot, which honestly, I kind of like it when people talk because it gets me excited. It's the little dopamine rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that more than a lot of the other stuff people get excited for, like the big follower numbers.
Right. Right.
But yeah,
It's the
I just
engagement. You like the
I'd like
engagement more.
to be someone that this is going to sound a little selfish, but I kind of like to see a little bit of fan art of myself from time to time.
Yeah.
And I know that's selfish, but I don't care. It's true. And I don't know. I just like to see myself spread out more in the community. Yeah. I'd like to maybe occasionally see other people talk about me outside of my circle. And even if I know it's a little selfish, but I don't care, because it just means that I'm doing something right that's making people happy.
Well, I can tell you this right now. You are doing it. And you certainly made me happy by coming on with me and talking with me. And I get a chance to meet and talk with a person as wonderful as yourself. I thank you so much for coming on. Just a breath of fresh air you are.
Well, I'm too lazy to get cranky all the time.
Well, when you get to my age, you're fighting cranky as soon as you wake up. And it tends to come with the territory sometimes.
Well, to me, being cranky and mad and stuff is mentally tiring, and that's a lot of effort, so I just don't.
Yeah, that's true.
So if I do put out that effort, you know that it's very specific reason and purpose.
If you do see red coming from Aquirena, you'll know why. Mm-hmm. Or at least you know when to duck. That'd be the best way to do
it. I guess you could say, because a lot of people know about that saying about having a short fuse, right?
Right.
I probably got like a super long fuse, mm-hmm. but it's attached to like super big dynamite.
That's not just a cliffhanger. That's a warning for folks out there. But I'll tell you what, you're gonna enjoy yourself once you talk with and see what Aquarena's got to offer. And we're gonna have the links for everything on the description for this particular interview on the YouTube channel. And I thank you so much for coming on. It's been wonderful talking with you.
Thank you.
It really is. It's just to hear your personality just bubbling right on through there. It's so much obvious that you enjoy being on as a VTuber and enjoy interacting with people and entertaining them and yourself. That's absolutely refreshing to hear. And thank you for taking the time twice to come on with me after I had trouble with the first time. But I really do appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Things happen, or as the VTubers call it, scuff.
Yeah, I was born scuff.
Scuff is inevitable.
Yeah, scuff is inevitable. But folks, again, check out what the Aquirena has to offer, and once you get some big stuff going on, let me know so we can update people. Okay?
All right, sure. And for everyone out there listening, take care, stay safe, have a wonderful night, and I hope to see you again real soon.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.